Oh, super kick. Oh no, 1D. That's it. The Usos retain. Yo, what's up, guys? I'm just starting the stream a couple minutes early. Give you guys a chance to get into the chat room. Just watching the main event here. Usos just retained the tag titles against the Mysterio family in a really good main event match. Just trying to see. We got about 10:57. Want to see if they have anything planned here to end the show. I don't know. Could we see Dominic turn on Ray? It's been talked about for well over a year now. Oh, it's the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day attacking the Mysterios. I'm guessing this is going to lead to Edge coming back, right? Edge cut a promo earlier in the night. Damn. They got Rhea Ripley choking Dominic out. Here comes Edge. Edge duking it out with the Judgment Day. Execution on Finn Balor. I would love to see Edge just spear Rhea Ripley here. Oh! Rhea pushed Dominic in the Balor, which caused Edge to spear Dominic. I love how Edge didn't even really look at Dominic. He just saw all shit and went running after Finn Balor. That's how we're ending the show, right? Dominic will be fine. Just a fucking spear. Dominic's fine. Just end the show. There we go. Look at my hair. My hair's messed up. I need to pick it out. All right, but I just took my twists out while watching Raw. So usually after I take my twists out, I usually wash my hair afterwards, and then it looks, that's how I get like the nice afro twisty look. But I haven't washed my hair yet, which I probably won't do till after the stream, before I go to bed, and then it'll look nice. But it is, so if you guys are wondering why my hair looks kind of messed up, it's because I just took my twist out and I didn't wash it yet. All right, but anyway, that's not what you guys are here. You're not here for me to talk about my hair. You guys are here to talk about wrestling, right? So yes, we're back. We are back, second straight night with a podcast, kind of getting back into it a little bit, getting back into the flow of things. I know we hadn't, been doing really any podcasts since April. Now we're in the Triple H era. Now I'm actually, trying to get back into doing podcasts again. As long as Triple H is in charge, I am very confident in the future of the WWE creative product. And hopefully that means more podcasts. Because, if I don't care about the product, I'm not going to make podcasts. That's just the simple way it is. Yes, I could spend time ranting here all I want, but I don't want to do that now. I want to actually come on here and actually just talk about wrestling, have a good time. And I'm confident that with the Triple H era now taking place, that that is gonna happen. Tonight was I'm not gonna say it was a great edition of Monday Night Raw, but it was it was okay. It was good. There was some things I really did enjoy about this show, which we are gonna get into. There were some things that could have been done better, but the way I'm seeing this product right now, I'm excited about the future, but there's things that have to change because there's so much baggage that has left from Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and his yes men that, it's not going to be easy for Triple H to make this into an amazing product, on day one. This is something that is going to take months, and you guys will hear me say this a lot. This is going to take weeks and months of work to get this product where it needs to be again. To get it back to where it was in the early 2000s, the 2010s, the Attitude Era, back when WWE was great, right? Triple H is the right guy for the job, and I have all the faith that, given time, that WWE will be great again, right? But right now, that's going to take time because there were so many mistakes made by Vince McMahon and company that, Triple H has a lot to clean up. And slowly over the coming weeks and the months, I believe he will be able to clean up a lot of the crap that Vince left behind. And then we will get to a great product. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time. All right. So without saying anything, yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka GLauren33. I am back here today with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast. Here today with a Monday Night Raw review for August 1st, 2022. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on the podcast, on the channel. I hope you guys are doing all right. It's good to be here. I truly mean it. It's good to be here. I know that you guys want me to be back. And like I said this last night on the Summerslam review. And if you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out. It is live on the channel. I'm not going to sit here and make promises that I'm going to be back full time. I will record when I want to record. I will go live when I want to go live. If WWE, is on a good trend with Triple H in charge, like I believe they will be, I have no problem going back to being live, around 2-3 times a week. I have no problem going back doing Monday Night Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, pay-per-views. I have no problem doing that. And I have faith in Triple H and company. I want to do podcasts again. But if I'm unhappy with the product, I'm not going to sit here and waste time and wreck my mental state by sitting here ranting, giving myself headaches and things of that nature, So it feels good to be here. It feels good to be back doing podcasts, and I know you guys are happy that I'm back. I want to thank you guys to the warm messages on social media and the comments. I know you guys missed me. I miss, most of you, if I'm being honest. There's some of you guys I didn't miss because some of you guys are annoying as hell, if I'm being honest. But for my real fans, the real supporters, thank you guys. And it does feel good to be here tonight. All right. We're going to take this week by week. And like I said, if I'm happy and I feel good about where the product is going, I will be back doing podcasts full time. Okay. Yes, you will get rants from me here and there, but I don't think you're going to see that as much with Triple H in charge. Triple H has a way better creative mind than Vince McMahon did the last decade. Okay. But with that being said, we are back here tonight reviewing Monday Night Raw. It is the Raw after SummerSlam, right? SummerSlam was a good show on Saturday night, even though the SummerSlam card going into it was not special because, of course, that card was made under the Vince McMahon regimen. But Triple H and company were able to at least make SummerSlam a pretty enjoyable show. And, of course, a lot of people are hyped going into Monday Night Raw tonight because this is the first real Triple H show, post-Vince. Last week, the news about Triple H taking over came Monday morning, right? And then Triple H did have to take over that show, but this is really the first full week of Triple H being in charge, and now post SummerSlam, right now we're gonna slowly get to see what Triple H's vision for WWE Creative is going to be. And I have, like I said, I will keep saying it as many times as I have to. I have all of the faith in the world in Triple H. He is the guy that we've wanted for years, and I think he is the perfect guy to bring WWE back to where it needs to be. And we saw a lot of good stuff on this show tonight. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The show was okay to me. It wasn't. I'm not gonna come out here and say that this show was amazing. This show was, WWE is back and all this other stuff, because the show was okay. Not because of anything really bad from a creative standpoint, but like I said earlier, there's a lot of baggage. And I apologize. My eyes are very watery and I'm sensitive to light. So if you see my eyes like watering up a little bit, I'm not crying or anything. It's just that, my eyes are very sensitive to light. The way I look at WWE, there's so much baggage and so many things that Vince and company did wrong over the last, let's say, 6-7 years, the better part of a decade. They've messed up so much, from the presentation of the show to just characters in general. They messed up and did so much damage that, like I said, it's gonna take a lot of time for Triple H to fix the mess that Vince left. A lot of these characters that you saw on this show tonight, we all know they're great wrestlers. And we all know they're also great characters. But the way Vince has booked so many of these characters over the last couple of years, that they've been booked to a point where the audience has no real reason to care for them. So now it's like Triple H is taking some of these characters that real fans like me know are great superstars, but because Vince has messed them up so much, Triple H has to reinvent some of these characters. Somebody like, for a perfect example, Tommaso Ciampa. And I know Anthony, my former co-host, my good friend, is in the chat, right? And here's something, we used to always talk about. Tommaso Ciampa had one of the greatest NXT championship reigns ever. Some may say he was the greatest NXT champion ever, right? To me, I would probably say Adam Cole, but like I said, it's subjective. You go back and you see what Tommaso Ciampa did in NXT with the likes of Johnny Gargano and the reign that he had. Those matches with Gargano and Aleister Black, and the list goes on and on and on. It was special. He was a megastar in NXT, right? And then, he got to the main roster and Vince ruined him. I don't care what anybody says. There's no reason why Tommaso Ciampa should be with The Miz. My hope, and I think, this we'll gradually see this in the coming weeks. My hope would be that Ciampa gets separated from The Miz, because Ciampa doesn't need The Miz. He never did. It's because Vince McMahon was so out of touch that he decided to pair Ciampa with The Miz. But honestly, Tommaso Ciampa is way too good to need somebody like The Miz with him. You changed Ciampa's theme music. You made him, lose some of that intensity that he had in NXT. You paired him with The Miz, right? And real wrestling fans know how good Tommaso Ciampa is. But if you didn't watch NXT, or if you were so blinded by what Vince McMahon has been doing all these years, you don't know how great Tommaso Ciampa is, right? And that's the damage. That's just one small example of the damage that Vince McMahon caused for all these years, right? Ciampa is a megastar. Ciampa has everything needed to really be a future world champion. But because Vince did so much damage and ruined him, right, that now Triple H has to build Ciampa back, build Ciampa back up from the ground up, right? And, like I said, Ciampa is just one example of so many other people that have been damaged by Vince. Many of those people are no longer with WWE. And I said this on the SummerSlam review, and I'll say it again tonight. If Triple H was in charge all these years, so many of these guys that are in AEW would have never left WWE. And the list goes on and on and on. Aleister Black, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, right? Samoa Joe. I could go on for eons. There's so many of these guys that should still be with WWE, but because Vince was so bad and so out of touch at his age, many of those guys are no longer there, and they should be there, right? I said this yesterday, and like I said, I'm going to keep repeating myself. You know, you're not going to see, under Triple H's leadership, you're not going to see many people leaving WWE to go to AEW now, right? Over the last 2 to 3 years, that's what we've been used to, right? People leaving WWE and going straight to AEW. I think you're going to honestly, if everything goes well with Triple H now in control again, I think you're going to start seeing the opposite. You're going to start seeing more guys from AEW start flocking over the WWE. And I'm not going to say that that's going to be an immediate change, but it is something I think you're going to start noticing more and more going forward. If everything works out with Triple H in control, and I think everything will work with Triple H in control. Okay? I think tonight you took some great strides towards where you need to be. But, like I said, change is going to take time. Yes, this is, things are going in the right direction, but this is something that's going to take months and months for the WWE product to be where it needs to be. If you're expecting this show to be an amazing show out of just like that, no, it's not going to be that simple. It's going to take months, right? Some people are going to be really happy with the show they got tonight. I think it was a good show. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't anything like, out of this world, but it was a good show. And I think, slowly things will be built upon this show as the weeks and months go by. And same thing, I could say the exact same thing about SmackDown. I don't know what's planned for SmackDown. We know that Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns are going to start their build towards Clash of the Castle. I don't know if Roman's supposed to be on SmackDown this Friday because we know, he has a very limited schedule now. But it'll be interesting to see what plans WWE has going forward. I think as the weeks go on, the main roster will be in great hands with Triple H in charge. The other thing, and I know you guys want me to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it and get out of the way right now. Based on a source by Wrestling KO, or CO, you guys know what I'm about to talk about. We're going to talk about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, my favorite. And it looks like there's a chance, based on this report, it looks like Sasha and Naomi could be back to WWE. Right? I'm going to pull out the report. All right. Basically every single wrestling outlet reported this, but the original source I believe came from Wrestling CO. Give me 1 sec. I'll get the official source for you guys. But like I said, most of these outlets said the same thing. But Sasha Banks and Naomi returned to WWE. Basically confirmed. So former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Sasha Banks and Naomi may be on their way back to the company. On Saturday night at SummerSlam, Dakota Kai made her shocking return to WWE alongside Bayley and Io Sky, aka Io Shirai. Kai was released by the company earlier this year, but now it appears more names might be joining her sooner rather than later. According to WrestlingNews.co, an agreement has been reached for the return of the Boss and Glow connection to WWE. They went on to say that there is a belief backstage that Sasha and Naomi could return to the company as early as tonight on Raw. This backs up a report last week from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, who stated that Triple H was trying to work things out with Banks and Naomi to bring them back to WWE. Right? And so there was rumors going out that maybe Sasha and Naomi we're going to be on Raw tonight. And of course, I'm not going to lie, that was something I wanted to watch out for. But if I'm being honest, I was about 85% sure that if the reports are true that Sasha and Naomi are going to come back, I didn't expect them to come tonight. Unless Triple H was going to fly them out on a private plane or whatever, right, and rush them to the arena. I thought the chances of Sasha and Naomi being back tonight would be very, very low. Of course, a lot of people were talking about, of course, with Bayley and her new stable with Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, right? And now Becky Lynch, who's going to be out now for the foreseeable future with her separated shoulder. Um, there was lots of rumors going out that maybe Sasha and Bianca or Sasha and Naomi would be the perfect two baby faces to join Bianca in the fight against Bayley, Io Shirai, and Dakota Kai. And of course, that would be awesome, right? But the more I think about it, the more I just think it's unlikely to happen, just because the Monday Night Raw Women's Division is now absolutely stacked. Yes, I know that we're not going to have Becky on television for a while, and we'll talk about Becky in a little bit, but Becky's going to be off TV for a little bit, right? She has a separated shoulder, and that's going to probably take her out for at least 2, maybe 3 months, right? I don't know if she'll have surgery on it, but that's an injury that could heal on its own, but it depends, if she gets surgery or not. If she gets surgery, she'll probably be out a little bit longer, but I would say don't expect Becky to be back for at least probably a couple months, okay? But it's not something that's going to keep her out long term, I think. And that is going to leave a little bit of a void at the Raw Women's Division, because now Becky is probably the number 2 babyface on the Raw Women's Division behind Bianca. But of course, you have Asuka there, who Asuka's Asuka, one of the best in the world, and I guess you have Alexa in there, even though I'm not a big fan of Alexa Bliss as a babyface, but it's whatever. If you add Sasha and Naomi to that Raw Women's Division, it is absolutely stacked. It's already stacked as it is. Right? We talked about this already. Becky, Bianca, you have Alexa Bliss, you have Bayley, Io Shirai, Dakota Kai, Asuka, Rhea Ripley. That's 8 legit names right there, right? And you have some other good players as well. You have Nikki Cross, you have Doudrop, right? You have Carmella. You have tons of talent on that roster. The SmackDown Women's roster is pretty weak right now. I love Liv Morgan, and I'm glad she's champion, but right now it was announced earlier today that I guess per storyline, Ronda Rousey's been fined and suspended for attacking the referees at SummerSlam, so she'll probably be out for, a couple weeks, whatever, right? The SmackDown Women's Division is in desperate need of help, really, because what? There's not a lot of credible names right now in that division. You have Liv Morgan, of course, she's the champion, but if Ronda's not there, right, and we know Ronda's turning heel, but if Ronda's not there for a couple weeks, who do you have? You have fucking Natalya. Nobody cares about Natalya. I love Raquel Gonzalez, but I don't think she's ready to be at the top of that division, right? And then you have a bunch of other names. Yes, you have like Shotzi, and you have what's her name? You have, I can't even, and I'm forgetting the names. You have Alea, right? Xia Li. Like, you don't really have a strong women's division on SmackDown at all. Raw's women's division absolutely tears apart SmackDown's women's division. So if Sasha and Naomi are indeed going to come back, they need to be on SmackDown, right? And to be honest, if they come back, I don't care about the WWE Tag Team titles. We'll see if Triple H wants to revive them. But to be honest, I don't really care much about those tag team titles anymore, right? If Sasha and Naomi are indeed coming back, I want Sasha and Naomi as single stars, really. That's what I would prefer, personally. Sasha and Naomi as single stars and putting them on the SmackDown Women's roster. It's probably the best choice. Yes, we can fantasize all we want about them being on Raw, like with Bayley and Bianca and Dakota and Io, but Sasha and Naomi, if they are indeed coming back, they need to be on SmackDown. Yes, I'm excited that they could potentially be coming back. That's what I want. That's what you guys want, especially now that Triple H is in control. And if Triple H was able to get them back just like that, that just shows how great Triple H is and how the problem was with Vince, right? Vince was the problem back there. He was the problem. And if Sasha and Naomi are back because Triple H was able to, amazing. But I'm going to take it with a salt, with a, what's it called? A hint of salt. I'm in no rush, We'll see what happens. If Sasha and Naomi show up on Friday on SmackDown, that's going to be amazing. Of course, we're all going to be happy. But like I said, I'm going to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt Just because. I'm not saying wrestling news is not credible, because based on what I've seen, they are a legit site. They are a legit site, and they have credibility. But of course, like I said, this is the social media era. False, fake news is everywhere, and of course, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. Okay, I'm not gonna, they have 188,000 followers, right? And I don't think they would have released this if they didn't have the sources to back it up. But of course, we gotta wait and see. Right? We gotta wait and see what the plan is. All right. I'm gonna check Wrestling News' Twitter just to see. So they posted a little bit of an update right now, actually 12 minutes ago. So right as I'm recording, we got a little bit of an update. So we'll see what the update is. But all right, so this is a little bit big. Okay, this is now coming from Wrestling News. They reported something about it. They also this is coming from Brian Alvarez. Brian Alvarez, he is very, very credible guy in the community. Definitely from the Wrestling Observer, right? And, he works with Dave Meltzer. So definitely he is credible as well. But WrestlingNews.co, I keep saying KO. WrestlingNews.co first reported earlier today that Banks and Naomi reached an agreement to return to WWE. And Brian Alvarez confirmed on Wrestling Observer Live that he heard the same thing from a source. Alvarez said the following during Wrestling Observer Live. I am not 100% confirming this, but since everybody is talking about it, I do have one source who is saying that yes, Sasha and Naomi have made a deal to return. So we'll know more, I'm sure, within 2 hours. But I'll just say I think it's true. I'm pretty sure, but I can't say 100. But I can't say 100%. Dave Meltzer later reported the following on his daily update regarding the Sasha Banks and Naomi rumors of them returning. I don't know that it's signed yet, but it is moving in that direction, and internally they do expect it to happen. So there you go. So more people are reporting that things are trending in the right direction. So the fact that we're getting more and more big sources saying that that's what they're hearing looks like it is true. But like I said, I'm just going to sit here and wait until it happens. If this is true, I think Friday is going to be a big day. SmackDown on Friday. If Sasha and Naomi are able to return, that would be the perfect time to do it, right? Especially if Ronda Rousey is truly suspended per storyline. Liv Morgan's going to need a challenger going forward. Who else but Sasha Banks or Naomi? I'm not saying I want Sasha just thrusted back into the women's championship scene, especially with everything that's happened the last couple months. But still, it is something to keep an eye out. But and I know I've seen some people that are angry, right? Some people are unhappy with Sasha and Naomi, and I'm not going to say that they don't have a right not to be angry, but remember, a lot of this was caused by Vince. So, it was Vince who decided to erase Sasha and Naomi from the company, taking their merch down, taking them out, taking them out of like every single piece of marketing material, basically acting like they didn't matter anymore, like they didn't even exist. I blame that on Vince and companies, so, so that's just the way I see it. All right. That's the way I see it. And I'm just happy that, Triple H is in charge, and I'm happy that, things are looking like Sasha and Naomi going to come back. Right. I believe Sasha and Naomi both have sightings at the Chicago Expo, because with the way things were said, Sasha and Naomi were gone. Like, it was never officially confirmed by to the public that Sasha and Naomi were released, but they were taken off the internal roster, right? And basically, based on what everything was said, basically they were gone. They were not getting paid, right? They were gone. They were gone. But now, all signs are pointing that they're going to be coming back. And I don't, like I said, if Sasha and Naomi are truly back the way I would book them, I don't care about the women's tag team titles anymore, to be honest with you. Maybe they'll bring them back, and I could easily see them being brought back by Triple H. And if it chooses to bring them back, fine, it is what it is. But I want Sasha as a single star. I want Sasha as a singles babyface star. Same thing with Naomi. That's what I want. All right? I think you need to build up Sasha as the number one babyface on SmackDown's women's division. That's what I think you need to do. Okay? And if you want to start a storyline from now all the way to WrestleMania with Sasha becoming champion there and finally getting her big WrestleMania singles moment, that's what I would do. Okay? But I don't know. Who knows? If Sasha and Naomi come back, maybe Sasha comes back as a heel to challenge Liv Morgan. I don't want that personally, but, remember, peak Sasha Banks as a heel back when she was in NXT with the red hair. That was back when Triple H was in charge, and we know how much Vince loves Sasha, so maybe, Sasha comes back as a heel. But I would prefer her to come back as a babyface single star on SmackDown and build her up to become the SmackDown Women's Champion and give her the reign that she deserves. Okay. But like I said, all things are pointing right now to Sasha and Naomi returning to WWE. Right? It's not 100% confirmed, but based on what we are hearing from major sources, Wrestling.co, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, it's looking like Sasha and Naomi have agreed to come back, right? And will be very interesting to see as the week goes on. If you start seeing Sasha and Naomi's merch back on the WWE shop, if you start seeing them in this little promotional material, I know there's people that pay attention to that. That's when you know that pretty much it's confirmed that they're back, right? If I go on Twitter on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday and I see Sasha and Naomi's merch back on the shop, they're back. That's really all you need to see. The first sign of any Sasha and Naomi sighting on marketing materials or anything like that, you could confidently say that, they're back. But as of right now, things are looking in the right direction, but nothing is confirmed as of right now, okay? Nothing at all. But there we go. And of course Sasha and Naomi are trending on Twitter. But anyway, let's get into Monday Night Raw, all right? Let's get back to Monday Night Raw. And yes, I know I see you guys in the chat. Charlotte's probably going to come back as well. Remember, Charlotte took a break because she got married. Charlotte probably will be back any day now. All right. Let me just see. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I'm missing. So yeah, let's get into Raw. Right, like I said, this was a good show tonight. Like I said, I got to give credit. This was a really enjoyable show, or not really enjoyable show, but it was a good show. It was a good start in the Triple H era, and they need to build on that. The big thing, Becky Lynch comes out to start the show, and she immediately comes back as a babyface, right? And it looks like she is transitioning back to the return of the man. She is coming back as the man, Becky Lynch, and I love this. What was the thing that I complained about the most with Becky Lynch? I hated the ridiculous outfits. I hated, like the over-the-top character. I hated the wacky heel promos. It's not the Becky Lynch that I personally enjoyed for many years, right? My favorite version of Becky Lynch was what was it, 29? The years go by so fast now, but 2018, 2019 Becky Lynch, when she first became the man, right? You know, the Becky Lynch that beat down Ronda Rousey with a broken nose and was bleeding all over Houston, right? On the build to Survivor Series. That was the Becky Lynch I missed. The Becky Lynch that confronted John Cena in the ring, right? And said that you're not the man anymore, I am. That's the Becky Lynch I missed. The Becky Lynch that won the Royal Rumble. That's the Becky I missed. All right? That's the Becky I loved. And, you know, after she became champion, it slowly changed. It slowly changed, and Becky just became more and more unlikable, right? But we heard after SummerSlam it was Triple H's choice to turn Becky back into a babyface, which was perfect. In my opinion, Becky should have never been turned heel to begin with. But Becky came out tonight, and the first thing she said, you know, I realized something after SummerSlam. You know, I'm at my best when I never needed the wacky outfits and all that, you know. And I'm going to play Becky's promo here right now. But it was the Becky Lynch of old.
No problem.
And it was super exciting to see. You know, I'm always, Sasha Banks will always be my number one, but I love this version of Becky. I really do. And I'm glad that they're transitioning her back into a face. Right away, Triple H takes over and he's like, yeah, you're going back to being the man. You know, and that's the way it was. They announced it. Becky said in her promo. Bianca said it when she came out to confront Becky. They announced it on Twitter. Becky, you know, she's transitioning out of that big time Bex character, which she was as a heel, and she's going back to the man. You know, that turned her into the superstar that she's become. And I'm very, very happy to see that. So I'm playing Becky's promo.
Now, in everything that I do, I give it my all. And in the past, I've talked about hitting rock bottom, and I've talked about not knowing who I was when I lost the title at WrestleMania. But at SummerSlam, I am happy to say I finally remembered who the hell I am. And so when I separated my shoulder at SummerSlam, and that's what it is, I had two choices. I could either give up, or I could give it everything that I had. And so I grit my teeth and I fought through 20 of the most painful minutes of my career. And as painful as those minutes were, and believe me, they were painful, it wasn't as painful as the realization that I had become so separated from reality. And sure, I did what I had to do. And not only for myself, but so that we could create the greatest women's division that we ever had. But I am reminded that I am not defined by one match. No, I define the match. And I am not defined by any title. I define the title. And I will not be defined by any man.
Ugh.
I define the man.
There it is. Yep.
And so
the return of the man, Becky Lynch. There's the line right there.
We start a new era. And we start a new comeback story, and it starts now. But first, I want to give credit and I want to give thanks to the woman who has pushed me every single week for the last year to be the B-E-S-T that I can be.
You know what, Becky? You not only define the man, but you are the man.
They got it. Mutual respect. You know.
Hold it down, B. I'll see you soon.
You know, and there it is. You know, and this does end this 1 year rivalry, this 1 year story that started last year at SummerSlam. You guys remember I went on one of my most epic rants. Seriously, one of my most epic rants when Bianca lost to Becky in 26 seconds. A lot of that had to do with what happened with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania last year, the one that I was in attendance for. But look, at the time, yes, it was a horrible creative decision to have Bianca lose to Becky in 26 seconds. I don't think any of us are going to deny that. But now here we are a year later, right? And things have come full circle. This rivalry that started with Becky beating Bianca in 26 seconds, the heel turn that we didn't want, right? And, we thought Bianca would never recover from that. But things have come full circle. Bianca got her payback at WrestleMania. Even though I wasn't a big fan of, Becky's heel run, I'm not going to sit here and deny that she didn't have a bunch of bangers in the process. Her and Bianca had two absolute classics in the last year at WrestleMania and again at SummerSlam, right? And at the end, Bianca's now a bigger star because of what Becky did. Like it or not, like I said, as much as I dislike Becky as a heel, Becky helped make Bianca into a bigger star at the end of this. At the end of this whole 1 year story between them, right? Bianca's a bigger star for it, and now Becky is now evolved back into where she needed to be, right? And going forward, now they have mutual respect for one another. Becky is once again now the man, the character that we want her to be, and Bianca is now a bigger star for it. She's the biggest star, really, right now in that women's division. If you really look at it, with Sasha not back yet, Charlotte's out of the picture, Ronda, you say what you want about Ronda, suspended or not, Ronda wasn't doing much with the title. I think we can all agree that Ronda or Bianca was a better champion than Ronda, right? Since they've been the two top at the women's division for most of the summer. At the end of the day, Bianca right now is probably the biggest star in that women's division, and a lot of that you got to give Becky a testament. Becky, helped Bianca evolve, and Bianca's become a bigger star because of Becky, and I think people are gonna look back at this 1 year journey, and yes, there was highs and there were lows, but Becky truly did help make Bianca to a bigger star at the end of the day. And I got to give Becky credit for that. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best ride ever, but it would be dumb for me to not give Becky the credit she deserves. And I'm happy that Becky is back as the man, back as the character that she needs to be. This is the Becky I want, and I think we're all in for a fun ride going forward. Let me fix my camera. This happens like every single stream. But I'm happy. I'm excited to see what they have planned going forward. Right, Becky's calling this a new comeback story. Right, and it'll be interesting. Yes, Becky's gonna be out for the next couple months. But Becky already said on her social media account when she comes back, she's going after Bayley. So it looks like we'll finally get the Becky and Bayley feud that we've been wanting for years on the main roster. That should be fun. We're going to get Becky versus Io and Becky versus Dakota Kai. So it's going to be a fun ride. And probably most likely this will lead to Becky versus Ronda at WrestleMania next year. That's probably where this is going. Babyface Becky versus a heel Ronda. I think that's where this is leading to, and I think we are all in for a very fun ride going forward. But yes, very, very cool stuff here with Becky and Bianca. After the segment, of course, Bianca was cutting a promo, basically talking about who's next and how, she's ready to take on her next challenge. But we cut to a backstage segment where Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky were attacking Becky backstage, right? This was basically just to write Becky off television. We already knew that Becky was going to be out for a little bit of time now with her injury. And this was just done from a storyline perspective to confirm that. So now, Bianca went to go check on Becky, but the damage had already been done. So yeah, like I said, this was just done to write Becky off television, and she'll be back in the next couple of months, next 2-3 months. All right. But yeah, and I will give credit. The attention. One thing that I noticed from tonight's show, the attention that Triple H gave to the women's division. It's more attention than Vince has given the women's division probably the last couple of years. The women were all over this show, and this is exactly what I want. As a fan of women's wrestling, to see the women get so much attention on the show, so much time, was great to see. We talk about the women and the women's revolution, right, and them being equal to the men, and how in the last couple of years that's really taken a back seat once again because of Vince's lack of care for the women's division. Now that Triple H is in charge, we know how much Triple H cares about women's wrestling. And to see the women get so much attention and so much time on this show, it was great to see. Really. You could say that Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky were the main stars of this show tonight. They were everywhere. Everywhere. They had like 6 different segments, it felt like. They were everywhere on this show, and that was great to see, and I hope that continues going forward. Great stuff. So yes. So moving into it, one big thing that was set as a major point tonight, we would have 2 triple threat matches. 2 triple threat matches. One between The Miz, AJ Styles, and Mustafa Ali, and another one between Dolph Ziggler, Chad Gable, and Champa. And the winners of those 2 triple threat matches would face off later on in the night, and the winner would go on to have a future United States Championship opportunity against Bobby Lashley, which has been booked for next week's show. All right, and before the first triple threat match, I forgot to mention, Raw was commercial free for the first hour of the show tonight, which was awesome. There was a promo. There was a 2-3 minute promo just highlighting the history of the United States Championship. And this is classic Triple H right here. Classic Triple H, if you've seen what he does in NXT, it felt like this promo alone put more care in the U.S. Championship than what we have seen in the last couple years with the title, right? The U.S. Championship has really been treated like a joke. You can also say the same thing about the IC title. Those titles have been treated like jokes on the main roster. And just this promo alone just felt like a breath of fresh air. It's like Triple H is telling you that, no, the U.S. Championship is now going to become one of the most important titles now on the main roster, especially when Roman Reigns is not going to be on Raw every single week, right? Roman Reigns is on a part-time schedule even though he is the main champion, right? It's like they're telling you that we're going to make it a goal to make the U.S. title, almost the most important singles title on Monday Night Raw. And that was really, really good to see. That's the promo alone that was narrated by JBL, showcasing, the history of the U.S. title. If I'm being honest, the U.S. Championship has not felt important since the days when AJ Styles held that title, when John Cena had the U.S. Open Challenge. And to see that promo alone, it made me feel like Triple H knows how important that title is. Look at what he did in NXT with the North American title, right back when he was in control. It really made you think like, damn, Triple H is not gonna let these mid-card titles fall by the wayside anymore. And it was outside of Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair and what they did on tonight's show. You could tell that Triple H has a goal to make the U.S. Championship important on Monday Night Raw again, and that was great to see. This after that amazing video package, we got the first triple threat match of the night with The Miz, AJ Styles, and Mustafa Ali, and this was great. I don't know if there was a bad match on this show tonight at all, and I know somebody in the chat earlier talked about how we didn't even have the 24/7 title on the show tonight, which I didn't even notice till now. Every match tonight felt important, and that was really good to see. All right. This was a fantastic triple threat match, and like I said, I really did enjoy how the first hour of this show was commercial free. It's not going to be like this every single week because, of course, that costs us a lot of money to do stuff like that. But it was good to see the U.S. Championship get this type of focus. This was a really good triple threat tag team match. Of course, you have AJ Styles, one of the best in the world. You have Mustafa Ali, and you have The Miz. When The Miz is in there with the right opponent, he is no slouch himself. So we got this triple threat tag team match, and really, this was hard hitting action. The action tonight on the show was very, very hard hitting. And it seemed like everyone was really out there giving their all. And at the end of the match here, freaking amazing. I remember Ali did like a tornado DDT on Styles on the outside of the ring. But of course, the finish, basically Ali hit a 450 splash on Miz, but it led him right into a beautiful transition, a Styles clash by AJ Styles right on the Miz, and he was able to get the pin and get the victory. So Styles advanced into the second match, the number one contender match, later in the night. And one thing that I noticed, they didn't call any of these matches contenders matches like they would under the Vince McMahon regimen. All right, which that was very noticeable and very good to see. So really great triple threat match to open up the show tonight. Really good stuff. Then moving on. Next up, we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came out to give a promo, basically to talk about what's going on with him and Riddle, right? And first, Rollins said, sure, he gives Riddle credit for having guts, but he wasn't smart to call out somebody like Seth Rollins. And basically, Rollins saying that he wanted to now set his sights back on Roman Reigns and the undisputed Universal Championship, which that was great to see. That even got the crowd hype because I feel like a lot of us want to see more Seth and Roman, right? I feel like, we never got a real conclusion to that back at the Royal Rumble, and I have no problem seeing more Seth and Roman, all right? But we do know, of course, what they're doing right now is for storyline, and Riddle and Rollins will continue, and that's right now still set for Cass at the Castle, right? And once Seth was out giving his promo, he was confronted by the Street Profits, right? And Rollins didn't want anything to do with the Street Profits. He called them losers after all their losses to the Usos in the last couple months. But then the Street Profits reminded Seth that they were the ones who defeated Seth to win the Raw Tag Team titles once upon a time. And that Seth was talking about losing, but he lost to Cody Rhodes, who wrestled him with one boobie because, of course, Cody Rhodes is torn pec. So this got Rollins mad, and Rollins called out, saying that he wanted to face one-on-one and beat their ass. And Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins they were going to do rock, paper, scissors to determine who would be the one to face Seth in the ring. But, of course, Montez Ford baited his old buddy out and brought a ref out and took the spot, which didn't get Dawkins mad, but it was just a funny thing. And this was really the showcase Montez Ford. A lot of talk has been going around about Montez Ford as a single star, right? It reminds me a lot of the New Day when people wanted to see Austin. Xavier Woods. I almost got his name wrong. Xavier Woods, when people wanted to see him get a singles run, right? And Montez Ford and Seth had a really good match. This was an awesome match. And I do hope, I don't think, I've said this before, you don't need to break up a tag team to give somebody a singles run. They didn't when Xavier Woods was king of the ring last year. They didn't break up the New Day, right? When Kofi Kingston and Big E had their singles runs as world champion, they didn't break up the New Day. You don't need to break up a team to give somebody a singles run, especially right now where Triple H, one of the big things he has to do is build back up the tag team division. The tag team division only has a couple teams. You have like the Street Profits, you have the Mysterios, you have the Usos, you have the New Day, the Viking Raiders, right? And maybe two or three other teams. There's still a lot more that needs to be done to build back up the tag team division, right? And we knew when Triple H was in control of NXT how big, how much tag team wrestling mattered. It's gonna take time for the tag team division to be built back up on the main roster, right? If you want to give Montez Ford a singles run, and like I think we all agree that he deserves to have a singles run, right? You can do it, but you don't have to break up the Street Profits to do that. You don't. Don't be stupid, especially right now when you need tag teams. The Street Profits are one of the most popular tag teams in the company. You can give Montez Ford a singles run, but you don't need to break up the Street Profits to do that. All right? And I think Triple H is smart enough to know that. So I don't think the Street Profits are going to be breaking up anytime soon. Okay? Even if Ford is getting a singles run, which he does deserve. This was a great match. Great match. Of course, Rollins being one of the best in the world, and Montez Ford with his crazy athleticism. It seems like every time we see Montez Ford in the ring, he gets better and better and better and more confident with himself, right? So this was a fantastic match. Montez Ford, he went for this the frog splash from the heavens. The crowd was hyped for him, but of course Rollins was able to reverse, and he hit him with the stomp for the win. After the match, Rollins went for another stomp, but Dawkins came to make the save for his partner, and that was that. But this was a really, really good match, and really it showcased, what Montez Ford can do against one of the best in the world in Seth Rollins. Of course, it keeps Seth looking strong, of course, as Seth continues his rivalry with Riddle. So really, really good stuff all around here. Really, really good stuff. Also, I will say this. That crowd tonight in Houston was weak. That was not a good crowd at all. There was a lot of piped in crowd noise. And hopefully, as time goes on, they won't need the crowd noise. But that crowd tonight in Houston, I don't know what was going on. That was not a good crowd at all. At all, okay? But really good stuff between Ford and Seth Rollins. Moving on. We had Alexa Bliss versus Asuka, right? And basically, two baby faces, all right? Both, want to be in the Raw Women's Championship hunt. Of course, I want Asuka to be in the main event scene. We know how great Asuka is, and definitely, I hope now with Triple H back in control, that we'll get to see more of that ferocious Asuka from NXT. But I gotta say this. I think they need to turn Alexa Bliss heel, right? I'm not saying we need Alexa to join Bayley's stable, but I do think Alexa Bliss needs to turn heel. I don't know. Alexa Bliss right now is just not hitting at all to me. Like, I know they changed up her. This was really the first time where I actually sat there and I listened to Alexa's new theme. Like I said, I haven't really been watching. I remember just been focusing on highlights. This was really the first Raw where I sat and watched the full show. And one, of course, I hope they go back to 2 hours eventually. And two, Alexa, I don't know, her theme music is horrible. Horrible. If anything, I would try to turn her back to one of her old themes. All right? This new theme she has is horrific, and she's just not hitting at all to me as a babyface. I understand, she's popular with the fans, but I'm sorry, this babyface version of Alexa's character is not hitting for me at all. At all. All right? And I think it would be better if they turned her heel, and I feel like that by doing that they could get the most out of her character. Alexa hasn't really been important to me since the days of her Fiend character, right? But this version of Alexa, it sucks, if I'm being honest with you. It really does suck. But The match itself really it was all right. It wasn't anything special because it was meant to lead to something more. About halfway through the match, Bailey, Sky, and Dakota Kai ran to the ring and attacked them. Bianca ran down to clear the ring. So it seems like now, at least going forward, it will be Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca teaming up to deal with this new threat, the new Bailey stable, which is fine. So I guess, that, removes the rumors of Sasha and Naomi coming back to join forces with Bianca. Like I said, when Sasha and Naomi do come back, I think they're much needed on SmackDown right now. SmackDown's women's division does need help right now. So whatever. I'm fine with Asuka and Bliss helping Bianca. Have Sasha and Naomi on SmackDown when they do return. All right. But yeah. Basically, then Bianca took the mic and then she challenged anyone from the Bailey stable to face her tonight. And, Io Sky stepped up to the challenge, and this match would take place later on in the night. So then we had our second triple threat match of the night. We had Champa versus Dolph Ziggler and Chad Gable. And when they first announced these triple threat matches tonight, if I'm being honest, it was kind of obvious that, or to me, I thought it was very, very predictable that, if Triple H is in control here, right, it felt kind of obvious that it was going to be Ciampa and Styles that would end up winning the triple threat matches. It kind of did. Even though you knew the matches were going to be good, Styles and Ciampa made the most sense, especially since they've kind of been feuding the last couple weeks anyway with what was going on with The Miz and Logan Paul. Right? And yeah, this was a good triple threat match. Pretty damn good triple threat. All three of these guys are great athletes, right? Chad Gable cut a very, very funny promo. Very, very good promo, basically saying that, he was going to win the match and win the U.S. Championship without cheating, unlike the Houston Astros, of course. Easy heel heat right there. But this was good. Of course, like all three of these men are very good wrestlers. All right. A fun and a fresh matchup, which is good to see. Us getting fresh matchups now on Monday Night Raw is, something to look forward to instead of the same repetitive garbage that Vince would give us for years. Just doing rematch after rematch after rematch to the point where it was just draining. But this was a good triple threat match, and then Ciampa won with the fairy tale ending. So Ciampa and Styles would be set up for later on in the night, and the winner would go on to face Bobby Lashley next week on Monday Night Raw. So then, moving on back to the women's division. Like I said, the women's division got a lot of time on this show, which was great to see. Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Right. Before that, Edge came out, and Edge came back. He is full babyface again. He came back with on this day. It was great to hear that music again. Edge's Judgment Day music was great, but nothing hits better than hearing Edge's original theme. On this day, I see clearly. Like, nothing hits more than that. And it was great to see Edge back. I will say this. Edge's hair is wacky as hell. I know he's been experimenting more, when he turned heel back at WrestleMania or before WrestleMania, right? We know he cut the hair. He had more of a high top going on for those couple months. And then, then he's back. After being kicked out of the Judgment Day, he came back now with this shorter hair look. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Edge with short hair. I just hope Edge gets the memo and he just grows back. His long hair. That fits him better than anything. All right. I know he, as he gets older, he wants to experiment more with different styles, but no, Edge, let's be honest here. The long hair is, what you're known for. and I think you need to bring it back. This short hair Edge stuff, I'm not for it at all. All right, I am not for it at all. But Edge basically, the promo Edge came back. He said it felt good to get that reaction because if he was being honest, he had been an asshole the last couple months, calling people sheep, and so he kind of apologized for the way he treated the fans for the last couple months. But basically, he explained that the whole point of the Judgment Day was to showcase younger talent and basically give them a platform to become the best versions of themselves. Edge, he just wanted to be more of a leader for some of the younger talent. But even with all of the all of the experience he has in this business, he didn't expect Balor and Rhea and Damian to turn on him so soon. He didn't expect that at all. But what happened is happened, and now basically his goal right now, all he cares about is destroying what he created and destroying the Judgment Day, and setting a message to Priest and Balor that yes, you took me out as the leader, but I'm going to show you guys why I am the Hall of Famer. I'm going to destroy the Judgment Day, and that would be continued a little bit later on in the show. So good, quick promo by Edge, establishing himself again as a babyface, and of course establishing that all he cares about now is destroying the Judgment Day. What will be interesting to see is will Edge have help, right? Will Edge have help against the Judgment Day? Will he keep teaming up with the Mysterios, right? Could we potentially see his wife Beth Phoenix come along and that help him with the threat of Rhea Ripley? It'll be interesting, but as great as Edge is, he is at a 3-on-1 disadvantage. All right, so we'll see how that continues to build up, but solid promo by Edge. Back to what was going on with Bianca and Io Sky. This was a great match. All right, they got plenty of time. I think this match went 15 to 20 minutes. Definitely got a lot of time, way more time than matches usually get when Vince was in charge when it came to the women's division. But this was a really great match showcasing Bianca's power, her athletic ability, and Io's high flying ability as well. And we gotta also remember here, there's a lot of people watching the product that didn't watch Io Shirai in NXT. They didn't see how great she was. All right, they didn't see her when she was NXT Women's Champion, when she was NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. She had been in NXT for such a long time, right? You had to remember here, this was an introduction to Io Shirai for many fans. And she's going up against the top woman star on the Raw Women's roster, Bianca Belair, the champ. So the fact that they got so much time shows you that Triple H cares about women's wrestling. He cares about the women's division, and also, that just had the burp. That the women's division is in good hands going forward. This was a very, very fun match. This was back and forth. About halfway through the match, Bayley and Kai came at ringside, of course. Like I said, they were everywhere tonight. There was a point where Belair swung Sky into the barricade, but Bayley and Kai sat on the apron to block her from getting back in the ring. But then Alexa and Asuka came out to even the odds. Right. Then we came back from commercial break. They continued. Like I said, this was fast-paced, very, very fun. And this match ended in a no contest when everything broke down and we got a big brawl in the ring with all 6 women. Even though it felt a little bit weird because Alexa and Asuka were going after Bayley and Dakota Kai. They didn't go after Io and Bianca, who were the competitors in the match. So it did feel a little bit weird to me that the match ended as a no contest, even though the two, like, there really wasn't a big interference. But it's whatever. I understood why they did it. They had referees and officials come out to break everything up, right? But remember, this is the start of something bigger, right? You could tell Triple H was not gonna have Io Sky lose on her first night on the main roster. If this was Vince McMahon, Io probably loses this match, if we're being honest. Remember, Vince was the one that rejected the idea of Bayley's stable. You know, Triple H comes and here we have the stable. You know, so I understood why you're not having Io lose in her first match back, and you're not having Bianca lose. You know, now with Triple H in charge, hopefully you're not going to see champions losing random matches. You're not going to see your champions getting pinned. You know, that was common in the Vince era. Champions getting pinned for absolute no reason. People losing when they shouldn't be, when they should be built up, right? So this was really good to see. Yes, of course, you don't want to see a no contest, but I think this was for the greater good, you know, in the long run. You don't want Io losing when you're trying to make her into a big threat in the Raw Women's division, right? And of course, Bianca's the champ, and the champ should not be losing ever unless she's really losing her title. So this was, I think it served its job in the long run. This is going to continue probably for a while. This is probably going to be the big program in the women's division for the foreseeable future, right? Bianca having to go up against Bayley and Io and Dakota Kai. It will be interesting to see when Bayley does have her first match back. I would not be surprised if, next week it's Dakota Kai in the ring. But it'll be interesting once Bayley gets back in the ring. That's what people are going to want to see, since we have not seen Bayley in the ring for over a year. And it does look like Bayley, she's not in peak ring shape yet, right? Of course, she's been out of action for over a year, so it's going to take her time to get back to that peak condition she was in before. But still, I'm excited to see where this goes, and the women's division is very, very exciting going forward, and that is what matters. Moving back, we had Ciampa and AJ Styles, and remember, the winner of this match would go on to face Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship next week. This was another fantastic match. Like I said, there was no bad matches on this show tonight. Every match felt like it mattered. Every match was hard-hitting. Very, very good ring action. If you love wrestling, you really did get that from this show tonight. And remember, both men had just wrestled earlier in the night. AJ Styles was selling a neck and shoulder injury, and Ciampa did go after that. Like I said earlier, Ciampa does not need The Miz, but The Miz was in his corner. Hopefully, knowing Triple H, hopefully in the coming weeks, we get more of that separation and we get to see Ciampa more just on his own. I would love to see Ciampa bring back his old NXT theme as well, because I'm not a big fan of Ciampa's current theme, and there was no reason to really change his old theme. So hopefully with Triple H in charge, we'll get to see a lot of those superstars get their old themes back as well. But this was a very physical, fast-paced matchup. For the most part, Miz did stay out of it. It wasn't until the later half where the Miz would get involved. Styles would hit Ciampa with a Styles class, but based off where the positioning was, Miz was able to put Ciampa's foot on the rope, and I was able to make the save. Styles then with a check. Miz at ringside, classic babyface move. Right, he took Miz out, sent him into the Timekeeper's area, but then Ciampa would send Styles into the Timekeeper's area as well. But Miz was able to hold Styles' rope, but Styles was barely able to get Miz off him and get back in the ring for the 10 count. But that allowed Ciampa to hit Miz was a huge knee strike. Then he was able to hit him with the fairy tale ending. Ciampa was able to get the 1-2-3 and get probably the biggest win of his career. Ciampa gets the win and is now the number one contender for the United States Championship. So in one night with Triple H control of Monday Night Raw, Ciampa looks more like a star than ever, and now he gets to face Bobby Lashley next week for the United States Championship. So like I said, I love the focus that the United States Championship got on the show. Lashley cut a quick promo backstage on Ciampa. Of course, Lashley said if he has to, he'll defend the U.S. Championship every single week. And he is excited to face Ciampa, but he will show Ciampa why he is the almighty U.S. champion next week. So Lashley versus Ciampa next week. It should be a banger. I don't expect Ciampa to win, but, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Should be a really good match. My only thing is separate Miz from Ciampa. Ciampa does not need the Miz to be a star on Monday Night Raw. This was the biggest win of Ciampa's career on the main roster. But still, like I said, Ciampa does not need the Miz by his side. And like I said, hopefully going forward they make that change. But good stuff here from Miz and Ciampa, or from Ciampa and AJ Styles. Moving into the end of the show, the main event was the Mysterios versus the Usos. Ironically, it was about a year ago, right around SummerSlam, when the Usos defeated the Mysterios to become the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And now, they've been the champions ever since. Now they're the undisputed Tag Team Champions. And Rey and Dominic, coming off their big win against the Judgment Day at SummerSlam, they were hoping to become undisputed Tag Team Champions. I didn't expect the Usos to drop the titles, but they definitely made you almost believe like the Mysterios were going to win the titles the way this match went. And it was great to see a tag team match close out this show tonight, right? The Usos have been on the run of a lifetime over the last year. I don't remember the last bad match that the Usos had. I don't even remember if the Usos have had a bad tag team title match in the last year. Like, you think about the matches they've had with the New Day, the matches they've had with the Street Profits, the matches they've had with, Shinsuke and Dominic. Or, no, Shinsuke and Rick Boogs, right? I don't remember the last bad match that the Usos had with the tag team titles on the line. And this was no different. This was a great main event. It was fast and furious. The Mysterios really did make you believe like they had a chance here. Right. But basically what happened, they hit the 619. Dominic hit a beautiful frog splash, but Jay saved Jimmy from the pin. But then, Jimmy made a tag in when Dominic couldn't see it, and he ran right in for a 1D and got the pin and the win. The big thing coming out of this was I wanted to see if they were finally going to have Dominic turn heel on Rey. It's been something that people have been talking about for what feels like forever now, but they didn't do that. Instead, the Judgment Day ambushed the Mysterios, still mad about their loss at SummerSlam, but Edge then ran down to the ring to make the save, right? He beat down the Judgment Day, and he set up Finn Balor for the spear, but Rhea Ripley, at that moment, shoved Dominic in the Finn Balor, causing Edge to accidentally spear Dominic, right? Edge, it was funny. Edge speared Dominic, and he knew he made a mistake, but at that moment, all he really wanted was payback on Balor, and he chased Balor out of the arena. And then the show ended with Rey checking on his son. And then all you see is Rhea Ripley laughing about it with an evil, evil smile at ringside. And that's how the show ended. It was a little bit of an odd angle to end the show. But, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. Would I like to see something more unexpected happen to end the show? Sure, it's the night after SummerSlam. But like I've been saying throughout the podcast, this is the first night of Triple H being in control, right? And it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for him to build up, the main roster, the tag team division, the women's division, the main roster scene. It's gonna take time, But tonight was the first real step towards change, and it's great to see, right? It was a little bit of a weird way to end Raw, but it was an effective way to end Raw. It continues the story with Edge and the Judgment Day, and we'll see where that goes. I don't know what this means for the Mysterios going forward, if they're going to, feud with Edge or team up with Edge against the Judgment Day. We'll see. Will this potentially lead to maybe Dominic turning heel on Ray? I don't know. But, we'll see. We'll see. And I trust Triple H going forward, and I think Triple H has a plan and has a vision, and I think things will be fine with him under control. But all in all, it was a good first step. It was a good show. I'm not going to say it was a great show, but there's really not too much to complain about. Every match on this show was solid. Like, there was not a bad match on this show tonight, and everything kind of drove the stories and the storyline forward, and it's good to see, Becky turning back into the man was great. The triple threat matches for the U.S. Championship were great, right? The U.S. Championship getting a huge focus on this show was great because that's going to be needed, especially since Roman's not going to be on Raw that often. Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins, fantastic. Making you believe more in a potential Montez Ford singles run. The women's division getting tons of focus. The great tag team title match to end the show. It wasn't an amazing show, but it was a solid show. And it was a great start to the Triple H era. And I think things are just going to get better from here on out. I'm excited to see what happens on SmackDown. I'm going to check one more time, see if there's any update on the Sasha Banks Naomi situation. But it seems like things are going in the right direction, and that Sasha and Naomi could be coming back to WWE sooner rather than later. So, like I said, really, really fun stuff. Really, really fun stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the Triple H era, really. And I'm scrolling through Twitter right now. It doesn't look like I don't see any other news. If there is any big news, and if there is an official announcement about Sasha and Naomi coming back, I will make a video sometime this week about it. But, ending the podcast tonight, things things are looking better. And it looks like Sasha and Naomi could be coming back. Plus the women's division is in good hands, and the main roster is, looking in the best state that it has been in a really long time, if I'm being honest. So, like I said, guys, thank you. Thank you guys for listening to the Legit Shoot podcast here tonight. You guys are awesome. It feels good to be back. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm not going to make a promise that I will be back, every single week. But if I am happy with the WWE product, and that's what matters to me, I will be back making podcasts again, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Legit Shoot podcast. If you guys did, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the bell next to my name, Fitz.TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. I will see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.